Hello, everybody. This is the TBK podcast. Today, I'm joined by David and Tunde. It's myself, LL. And today, we're going to talk about the upcoming bout between Devin Haney and Jorge Linares. Yeah, you know, Devin Haney, I'll say he's part of the new school. He's part of the new talent that's coming up in boxing. We've seen him coming up for quite a while right now. You know, I was aware of Haney from when he was about, say, 14, 15. And I actually remember I wanted to place a bet that he was going to be like a world champion by the time he was 21. I didn't actually place that bet. I wish I did, you know what I mean? Yeah, but Jorge Linares, you know, he's a veteran in the game. You know, he's had a few ups and downs in his career recently. Is this too soon for Haney? Let's start with David.
I don't think it is, if I'm honest with you. I think Haney, even though he doesn't talk a word of smoke, he doesn't throw out a word of smoke. He's made it quite clear that he's ready for anyone, and he was prepared to go in there with Loma. He was chasing Loma for a while, never quite got the fight that he wanted. He's been talking that Garcia stuff, and I think that Linares, I think this is actually a good time for him to have Linares, if I'm honest, because of the kind of level fighter Linares is, and I'm not saying he's not an A-level fighter, but in terms of, you know, like the likes of Lomachenko, he was the star of the division prior to being beaten by Teofimo, and Haney really wanted him. I think this is the right time for him to go up against Linares, because he does a good job on Linares. He's got something to shout from the rooftops about. You know, so I think the timing is good. He's always in training. So yeah, I reiterate, I think the timing is good. Okay. What about yourself, Tunde?
No, it's the right time for Haney. I think he has to step up. Linares will be a really good name on his record. The only thing with Haney, I really like Haney as a boxer. I like his style of fighting. My only concern is he's got 15 stoppages on his record, 15 out of 25. 10 by decision. I think he needs to stop Linares to really sort of, get the narrative going, get him in the conversations in regards to mixing it with the other killers in, because I mean, make no mistake, there's killers in that division. But I think, a win over Linares would look good on his record, but a KO or KO stoppage win would really light him up. I think if he labors to like a decision, people are going to be all over him. The critics will be on him. He needs to really sort of like make a statement in this fight. Even if it goes to decision, if he really puts on a show, like just completely dazzles Linares, that's good enough for me, But he needs to, this has to be a statement fight. With Garcia, the way that he dealt with Campbell, he put out a statement. He got dropped and then he came back and he bodied Campbell. That's never been done to him before. Lomachenko didn't do it. Linares didn't do it. And so he's put himself out there. Haney needs to do the same thing. He needs to put out a statement, whether it's by stoppage or by decision. But he needs to dazzle. He needs to really put out a statement. If it drops him a couple times, cool, no problem. If it goes to decision, fine. But he's made a statement, and that's what he needs to do. It's more the way he wins rather than just winning. Yeah.
So basically, you're saying it's a dead cert that he's going to win. It's just a matter of how he wins. Yeah. I think Linares is still dangerous, but I think he's a little bit past his best.
He is, but I think Linares is someone that Haney ain't fought yet. He's at the caliber that he's at a caliber that Haney hasn't come up against yet. I mean, he beat Gamboa, but
Gamboa's washed, man.
What is what I say? Gamboa might be game, but Gamboa's past it. Do you know what I mean? And in all honesty, he didn't look good against Gamboa.
No, he didn't. He laboured to that win.
Yeah, he did. And I think Linares, on paper, Linares should offer him a few more problems than Gamboa.
Linares will test him.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I think Linares, based on his record at the moment, Linares is, dare I say, almost a stellar name compared to what he's fought before.
Well, he is.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think really based on the Gamboa fight, he's really got to kind of do a lot more, as you were saying, T. I just think he's going to have a lot more to answer. And if his IQ comes through in this fight, it will definitely, as you said, put him on the road.
Yeah, because I mean, this is a definite step up for him, as it was a big step up for Garcia, because he was knocking over tin cans before, and he stopped someone in Luke Campbell that hadn't been stopped before, and he did it in style. He got dropped himself and he came back, went through a little bit of adversity, and then bodied Campbell. And it has to be a similar sort of narrative for Haney, especially since his last fight with Gamboa, because that was, for somebody of Haney's potential, it was dire. Like, Gamboa was washed.
So I was going to ask a question, Tunde. So who would you say had the bigger test out of Haney versus Linares, or Garcia versus Luke Campbell? Who would you say had the bigger test? On
paper, you would say that Linares will be a bigger test, slightly. But the thing with Campbell is that this is somebody who's he went through it with Linares, and he maybe was that was a very sort of topsy-turvy fight. I wouldn't have been surprised had he won, to be honest. So that was a little bit debatable. He acquitted himself fairly well with Lomachenko. So with Garcia, it was a bit of a bigger jump for him with regards to Campbell than it is with Haney and Linares, I would say.
I understand.
For Garcia, he really, because everybody, including myself, just thought he was a wicked version of Golden Boy. He just flattered to deceive, but he showed that he's got a killer mentality behind all of the gloss. There's a bit of dog in him. Like he got knocked down. It's never happened to him before. He went through that, sorted himself out, adjusted a little bit, and then he dealt with Campbell in a way that has never been done to him before. So, and the thing is, he's had that test now, and he now knows that, okay, he can be hurt, but he knows that, I can get up off the canvas, and I will dish out some damage. He knows what it is to go through a little bit of adversity. He knows what it is to be down on the floor and come back up, and that's a very valuable lesson to learn. When you have that in your head that, okay, this person can hurt me, this person can hit me, this person can knock me down, but you know what? They're gonna have to kill me to finish me. You understand?
Haney hasn't been through that yet.
He hasn't been through. He hasn't been through the fire yet. So this fight will show us what he has upstairs, what he has mentally, what he has in his heart, because that's something that sometimes is a little bit underestimated, understated. What somebody has in terms of determination and grit and fire and stuff. So we haven't seen that yet. He's had things his own way for the most part, albeit from the fight with Gamboa. So let's see what happens when somebody's across from him that can potentially hurt him, that can potentially put him down. Let's see what he's made of. Because if he gets hurt, comes back and then does damage to Linares, then we know that, okay,
he's got a bit of grit about him.
This is somebody who's got, potentially he's got the heart of a killer in him. So, we just have to see what happens.
To be honest, bro, I don't really see none of that happening. I have this fear with Haney that, because I think he's really good. Yeah, he's a very talented boxer, but sometimes, especially in the game of boxing, talent that translates itself the way how Haney's talent translates itself, it can be to his own detriment, because he's too good. It almost looks too easy, so the fight just looks like a sparring session, and people just don't really get blown away by it. Like with the Garcia fight with Luke Campbell, there was a little bit of back and forth. Whereas what I've seen from Haney so far, there's very rarely any back and forth. I mean, the kid barely gets touched. He's awkward. He frustrates his opponent, and he literally just peppers them for 12 rounds. Yeah. And we can just basically see us getting to a point where he gets into another 12-round decision. He whitewashes his opponent, in this case Linares, and there's nothing new learned about Haney. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like if we see, like, say, Garcia or one of these guys have that type of performance, then it's something to kind of write home about, because we haven't really seen that type of thing from them before. But with Haney, we want to see that type of Garcia type performance where he has to overcome some type of adversity. But I'm not sure if we're going to get that in this fight.
And you've touched on something. So my worry for Haney is that because he's so good, because he's so slick and stuff, he can become like a Rigondo or a Bivo, who will just literally do what's needed to win, and that's it. Now, the problem with that, they'll keep on winning, right? The issue with that is that boxing is, let's face it, it's entertainment, yeah? People come to see, they want to see a fight. They want to see blood, they want to see guts, they want to see knockouts or whatever. And if there's no knockout, they want to see someone get battered. So if it was like Calzaghe and what's the guy's name that he absolutely molested over 12 rounds? Lacey, yeah? Right? When it's something like that, yeah, people will love it, right? But when it's just like a boring, not even so much boring, but just a stately procession through the rounds and then you win, people get turned off, and people won't tune into his fights. And when it comes to pay-per-view, the entertainer is king.
And you also see a case of where the other champions or the other top fighters within his division, they have a built-in excuse not to fight him. He's boring. You know what I mean?
And that's something that troubled Andre Ward. Absolutely superb fighter. One of the best in his generation, but he wasn't somebody who people clamored to see. Boxing enthusiasts, real boxing fans, they'll tune into his fights, but who's paying to see Andre Ward?
And the thing is, with that said as well, with the Kovalev fight, I think that's why everyone was so happy to see him get put down, because it was almost like finally he's got to show something. We got to see something.
Good point. Good point.
But then there's thing for everyone who was feeling that way is that there was a rematch, and he went back to being Andre Ward again. In spite of Kovalev's world-class jab. Do you know what I mean? And I think the thing with Haney is Haney, he just what you just now said there, T, about the boxing purists loving Ward. I think just Ward did look good for the boxing purist, and I think Haney is the same. He looks good because he's a slick fighter. He's very skillful, but if it becomes a procession, it's going to be difficult to find engaging. But I like the kid. I think he's a really good fighter, and I've got a feeling he couldn't do really good things. But as LL touched on, you look at the ready-made excuse that will be, he's boring, he doesn't bring in the numbers, because now it seems like boxing is more about the money than it is about anything else.
But he's sorry to cut you there, and that touches on another thing, because what will happen is the conversation with these boxers, and I won't blame them, is that, well, who do you bring? Like, what do you bring to the table? I'm the A side, you're the B side. So if anything, I will take 70%. You'll be lucky to get 30%. That's what will happen. Yeah,
we're already having enough problems with that at welterweight, man. We don't need that. We don't need that there as well,
bro. But it's that's the conversation. The thing with that is that it's come out, to the fans now. But that was always the case, behind closed doors. And that's something else that could trouble him if he doesn't sort of break out and really sort of start putting it on his opponents. So
okay. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Tunde. I thought you finished. I just wanted to just to round this up. What are we saying? Are we saying Linares win, Haney win, knockout, decision, split decision?
Haney win, decision. Yeah, decision.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying Haney UD.
Haney UD as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the same. I think Haney's going. And I don't want to say it because I really do like Haney and I want to see him do well, but this might just end up being another Haney, and it just, people are not blown away by it, and they just say, Haney just beat Linares. Just as similar to Gamboa and everyone else who he's faced so far. Yeah, okay, well, let's round it up now. It's good conversation on Haney versus Linares coming up. Hopefully we're wrong, and hopefully Haney puts on a show. You know, and maybe Linares, you know, the old Linares, what is he now, 35? Maybe he might show us something and have that last hurrah before he retires, or, you know, we'll see anyway. So yeah, this is myself, LL, David, Tunde. This is the TBK podcast. We're out.
And this is the TBK podcast.